Amending fences. So far, this has been the most well-received episode of Season 5. Everyone and their long-forgotten friends that they just made up with are singing this episode's praises to the high heavens. Well, I'm here to tell you that I love it too. As much fun as it would be to be a contrarian here, I like to think I have more integrity than that. So I'm going to say what everyone else has said already. This was an episode I never knew I wanted, but once I got it, I wanted it like chocolate. Let me explain what I mean. So this episode opens up with Twilight and Spike hanging out.
You know the worst thing about you being the princess of friendship?
Besides the fandom drama?
Heyo!
It's kind of funny, isn't it? All these ponies coming to you for advice about friendship.
What's funny about that?
You know, because you used to be famous for being such a bad friend.
Okay, Spike, while I love your sense of humor and bluntness, glass houses. So Twilight decides she needs to talk to her old friends. I can understand her thought process on this. She got so wrapped up in her own life that she forgot some people who were a huge part of it. I mean, I still have friends that I've known for years, like, all throughout childhood, and we haven't spoken in a long time.
Oh no! He's having a guilt attack. Quick, someone, show him fan art to stroke his ego.
Oh, what happened? Oh, is that show style?
Yes, and you may have it when you're done with the review.
Sweet. So Twilight goes back to her old home, which is now unoccupied and left untouched since season 1. What? Shouldn't she have taken, like, her books with her when she moved to Ponyville? Or at least cleaned up for the next person? Seems kind of unlike her to just dump everything.
And here's that present I was going to give Moondancer. Guess you won't be needing that. Hey, look! The rest of it's still here!
Ooh, hiding a detail from the audience. Good. Biding time until a juicy reveal. Can't wait for that.
I've got to make it up to...
Oh, Minuet, Twinkle Shine, Lemon Hearts, Lyra Heartstrings, and Moondancer.
I know I'm being Captain Obvious here, but there's a stronger focus on background ponies this season, and so far, it's being handled pretty well. I do love our main characters, and I love spending time with them, but I also like the fact that we're able to spend some time with some of the other people inhabiting this world, and thankfully it doesn't feel out of place. Instead of having these characters just say a line or two and leave, these characters are given actual identities and personalities. It makes the world feel a little more alive. So Twilight goes to see Minuet, who's really enthusiastic to rekindle the relationship. Well, be honest, wouldn't you want to get on terms with a huge celebrity that you knew in the past?
It's for you. Guy says he knew you from kindergarten. Heard you were an internet celebrity and wants to be friends again.
But I'm not a celebrity.
Okay, he says he's not a celebrity. He hung up.
And people wonder why I don't use Facebook. So Twilight's old friends get together at a diner.
You remember our old friend Lyra, right? She lives in Ponyville, too. We're always over there visiting her. Or she's coming over here.
While I love continuity as much as the next guy and the explanations of bizarre things that have gone on in the background since the show began, that still doesn't explain the clones of Lyra we've seen everywhere. Unless there was something already established in the MLP mythos that could conceivably explain the large amount of clones. That's one explanation. You know, now that I think about it, we have slowly seen less and less clones in large pony audiences ever since Season 3 started. Perhaps since then, changelings have slowly been searched for and deported. Whoa, tangents. They strike when you least expect. As do cars. Tie him up.
Yes, sir.
So Minuet accidentally drops a guilt bomb on Twilight, which prompts Twilight to apologize. That's one thing I really like about Twilight, her humility. Even though she's a princess of Equestria, she's not above admitting she makes mistakes, or apologizing for mistakes she's made a long time ago. That sort of earnestness is very admirable and something I try to emulate.
He's having a guilt attack. Quick, someone, show him fan art to stroke his ego.
With varying levels of success. So Twilight goes back to her old kindergarten class and has a flashback.
But according to this book, you're supposed to add the sodium chloride first.
Wow, Twilight does sound like a joyless loner. And considering that voice makes Philly Twilight sound like Timmy Turner, not gonna lie, my childhood feels a little bruised.
Hey, wanna play the not steady game?
Do I?
Review Firebrand.
Oh yeah, work. Some people have complained that Moondancer is a Twilight recolor, and it's true, she is, but I actually like that. You see, there's this epistemological idea called tabula rasa.
Boo, education.
Could someone gag him, please?
Sure thing.
In basic philosophy, tabula rasa means blank slate. It's the idea that people are born without inherent traits, and everything they acquire or perceive through their senses is what shapes them into who they are. You know, product of environment, nurture over nature, that kind of jazz. I like how this episode is visually stating that Twilight and Moondancer actually started out as similar ponies, but their life choices set them on paths that developed them in differing directions. Twilight in the direction of princesshood, and Moondancer in the direction of a total hikikomori.
Freaking weeaboo.
It was a phase! So Twilight asks how Moondancer got this way. Minuet then explains that Moondancer was coming out of her shell, but then retreated back once Twilight blew her off to do studying. Ooh.
Thought she might finally be letting her guard down a little with that party. We invited her out a few times after that, but she was always too busy studying. So eventually, we just stopped asking.
To be fair, this isn't exactly Twilight's fault. I mean, Nightmare Moon was about to happen and Celestia would have sent her to Ponyville and she would have missed the party anyway. Twilight technically can't shoulder all the blame. So Twilight tries to talk to Moondancer, but her attempts aren't going very well.
I just need to be alone so I can study without some crazy pony trying to make friends, alright?
Do you hear that? I do believe I hear an ironic echo.
I just need to be alone so I can study without a bunch of crazy ponies trying to make friends all the time. Now where's the... Wait, how did you get into my book like that?
I love this look. It just screams, "You're mine now, girl."
I can only do it for a few minutes, but you'd be amazed how much you can pick up when you're actually in a book.
Whoa, really? Never-ending story style. I want to try this. Something about Twilight.
Should I have told him that was the Stephanie Meyer version? Whatever, not my job.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing!
What?
Yeah, that was one of the best comedies I've ever read.
Oh, good.
Man, I'm gonna read the sequels after the review is done.
I'm gonna tell him.
Don't you dare.
So Twilight takes it to the next level and tries to bribe Moondancer into spending time with her, but Queen Shutout ain't having it.
What if I taught you Haykart's method?
Is anyone else getting an amusing image of Twilight dangling Haykart's method from a fishing pole while Moondancer's trying to grab it? Just me? Okay. So everyone gets together at a diner and... oh my gosh! This is horrible! Equestria is in danger! Look who it is in the corner! It's Aria Blaze! How did she get on the other side of the mirror? Well, she's not getting away from me!
Ahem. Look again.
What? What do you mean? Oh! Silly me, what was I thinking? Aria doesn't have her singing voice, so she's completely harmless.
Oh my gosh.
So they had the dinner, and it's kinda awkward. I mean, not cringy awkward, but not funny awkward either. Just kinda meh awkward, if that makes sense. Then Moondancer bails, saying she wants nothing to do with friendship. That's gotta be a huge blow to the Princess of Friendship, and it is. Twilight is known to take failure very hard, and it's no different here. She takes it so hard that she can suddenly hallucinate an event she wasn't there for. So, extreme guilt gives you post-cognition? That might explain why Celestia and Luna are so knowledgeable. So Twilight quickly heads back to Ponyville and picks up Pinkie Pie.
You two know each other?
Oh, sure. She was one of Cadence's bridesmaids. We hang out all the time when she's in Ponyville.
So were Twinkle, Shine, and Lyra. You know, I've always wondered about that. These characters were on good enough terms with Cadence that they became her bridesmaids? I wonder how that worked. How'd they actually meet Cadence in the first place? Wait a minute. Minuet, Lyra, and Twinkleshine were all friends of Twilight when she was younger, and Cadence was Twilight's constant full-sitter, so it wouldn't be too much to assume that they would probably have met each other at one point and become friends, which eventually developed to a point where Cadence would offer them to become her bridesmaids. Holy crap, it's all connected! So Moondancer comes out of the library and geeks out over some books she found lying on the ground.
Don't you find this a tad suspicious?
So Moondancer arrives at a makeup party and is persuaded to at least try it. Moondancer is not happy and lets Twilight know about it. The dialogue and acting here are incredible. It has the perfect balance. You don't believe that Twilight is a bad person, but you also don't believe that Moondancer is wrong for saying these things. You really believe that Moondancer was sincerely hurt by Twilight, even though there was no malicious intent. I think now's a good time to talk about catharsis. This was an idea first conceived by Greek philosopher Aristotle. When someone experiences strong emotions or certain emotions that have built up over time, sometimes the mind's first instinct is to repress them, and that in turn affects your personality in negative ways. Then, a triggering event causes the process of releasing, and thereby providing a sort of alleviation from those repressed emotions. And here we have catharsis, that feeling of having the burden of your repressed emotions relieved. Moondancer here went through catharsis. She clearly states that at one point she wanted to be valued, but got hurt as a result and never wanted to be hurt like that again. She repressed her emotions and shut everyone out. Her rant against Twilight really feels like she is releasing strong and pent-up anger and sadness. We see Moondancer finally show an emotion other than apathy or disgust, after which she is in a mental state where she is more receptive to Twilight. The scene is slow but effective, and many movements that these characters make contain a large amount of subtleties. Speaking of Twilight, it's important to note that she technically didn't do anything wrong. Twilight didn't know how much value Moondancer put on that party, and there was no way she could have known, yet she still apologizes anyways. A lot of times, especially when you have a lot of influence, you're gonna have to apologize for bad things you didn't intentionally do. Sometimes your smallest actions have huge unforeseen consequences, and trying to make it right will mean the world to people. You have to fix it because people are affected in big ways by small things, even if you aren't taking it too seriously.